Hi everybody, it's Michelle McClunan here, and I'm bringing you an update on the full moon that's coming up on the 31st of October. It's a biggie. In fact, it's probably kind of a humdinger of a full moon. And the reason that I say that is because of what's touching the full moon. So every month we have a full moon, and it's always in a different sign. And once a year we have a full moon in Taurus, which means that it's opposite the sun, Scorpio. So there's a polarity always at full moon because you've got two opposites. You've got the male and the female. There's always a focus on relationships because it's male and female, backwards and forwards, dark, light. So that always comes up at full moon. What also comes up is things come up into the light. So it's a time of culmination, of release, of letting go. Every month we have the chance to do that. Now this month, it's a little bit more complex than that. So the full moon is in Taurus. Taurus is a sign, it's a fixed earth sign. It's connected with safety, security, keeping the status quo as much as possible, keeping things steady, keeping things right and sort of predictable, doesn't like too much change. And so at a full moon in Taurus, very often themes around that will come up. Themes about security, safety, money. Money's another one. Where do we find our security from? Those deeply embedded security themes that we carry through us into our lives. So that is opposite the sun in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. It's a sign of change. It kind of says change everything if it's not working. It says go beneath the surface, bring whatever is at the bottom of the surface up to the surface for clearing. Have a look at those security needs. Have a look at how you feel about your security. What does security mean to you? What does safety mean to you? Where do you place your security? What are your conditioned thoughts about money, about value, about relationships? How you are in relationships. What's your sense of value in terms of what you hold to be valuable? How do you value yourself? Do you put yourself second, third, fourth, last? Do you consider your own needs as well as others, or others' needs ahead of yours? So those are all questions that will often come up at a Taurus full moon. This full moon is exactly conjunct, which means that it's at the same degree as the planet of change, which is Uranus. Uranus has a very sort of electric energy. It's the planet that's connected to freedom, to individual rights, to liberation. Uranus is, for me, it's got a sort of a sparky electric energy which kind of cuts through, breaks through in order to break down what isn't necessary. It's a little bit like a lightning strike. And if you look at Taurus, Taurus is earth, so it's almost like a lightning strike of the earth, of those very things that we might sort of see as giving us security. So I think that this full moon it's a biggie, and it's obviously leading up to the elections in the US. I think that over the next week, we're probably going to see quite a lot of shocking news, possibly breaking news that we haven't heard before, possibly more sort of secrets coming out of more closets, more skeletons being revealed. And I think what we could see volatility in possibly financial circles, economic circles, political systems, and I think that's obviously, it's pretty obvious to most of us what's going on the planet. So it's sort of closing into that time where the elections is on the 3rd of November. It's sort of an electric breaking through energy. So I think there's going to be quite a lot of more protests. There might be a lot more rebellion. And I think that on the day of the election, might not all go smoothly as people would like, because Mercury turns stations, which means that it sort of stands still before turning direct after a few weeks of being retrograde. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. I suppose you could say ballots and votes. All of that would fall under the auspices, in one sense, of Mercury. So when Mercury stations direct, there would often be a sort of a shift, and I wouldn't be surprised if votes have to be recounted, or if we don't get the answer as soon as we think that we will. Mercury is also in a square to Saturn, which usually means delays. So just in terms of your own life, just be aware of possible delays and changes in communications, misunderstandings, breakdowns of equipment, devices. I've heard all sorts of stories in the last few months, a few weeks, of people leaving phones in places where they haven't been able to recover them, computers crashing. So I reminded myself today again to back up my devices, which I still haven't done, but it's a good idea to do that. I think especially before next week when it shifts, because we always feel things as they shift more intensely. So it'll then actually go direct after that, and communications should, in a way, start to clarify a little bit. The energy of this full moon, though, if we feel into the energy of the Scorpio, Scorpio really has different layers to it. And Scorpio is most commonly known as the Scorpion, which is kind of the lowest vibration of Scorpio, which is quite sensitive. And, if you stand on me, I'm going to bite you. Sore. Could even be a fatal bite. I'm going to get my revenge. I'm going to lash back. Now, we're seeing a lot of that on the globe at the moment, of that sort of backlash of hatred and war, and, we'll get our own back kind of energy. That's the kind of lower domain of Scorpio. The higher energy, or the higher energetic frequency of Scorpio, is the eagle, the all-seeing eagle. So it's the one who's able to actually fly above all the drama and actually see it for what it is, but not be involved in it. And then there's also something that a lot of people don't know, which some astrologers refer to as the dove, which is even above the eagle, which isn't even going to go down onto that same level of drama, or getting, or winning, or striving for anything. It's just the peaceful dove, which is able to hold the space of peace while everything else is actually playing out in a possibly challenging way. So we can always choose which one we're going to go for. The other sort of thing that's associated with Scorpio is the phoenix rising. And what that suggests is the theme of transformation, which is really the breakdown of the old so that something new can be reborn. And I keep on saying this because that's the theme for this year. What is breaking down so that something new can be reborn? What in your life needs to leave so that something new can be reborn? That could be it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be a job, it could be the way you do things, it could be your thought patterns, your belief systems, your sense of security. It could be a myriad of different things determined by where this is actually playing out in your own personal chart. But more or less, it's reassessing your roots, your structures, to see if they're sound, to see if your foundations are solid. And I'm talking about your inner foundations, not just the outer world. So I believe this year we really are being called on to go to a deeper level of our soul's evolution. This is not just about our personal needs and wants and desires. This is actually about a much bigger picture that's busy playing out here. And it was going to happen. We could see that something momentous was going to play out this year, and it is. So we're all seeing it as part of the collective, and we're all seeing it personally as well. While this happens, with all this energy and this incredibly concentrated energy, is as much as I can kind of tell you about the astrology of this time. It's so concentrated and so intense that we kind of almost have to find another way of dealing with it. We can't be sitting on the outside of the circle, spinning around, because we'll spin out. So it's to bring ourselves back over and over to what works for us, to what brings us back into alignment, to what brings us back into some kind of peace. And if we have to do that 100 times or 200 times a day, then that's what we've got to do. Alternatively, we can jump into the fire and burn with the rest of the people that are doing that. I think that there's a great call for some of us to hold the light on a planet that's in chaos. So I'm calling on you watching this to be part of that solution, if anything, to hold a space for this as it reveals itself, because the old is falling away. The new is going to be appearing, not right now, but it is going to be appearing. And I think we all just need to realize, Aquarius and the planet Uranus are very concerned with energy. And I think it's really important for us to remember that we are energetic, having a physical experience, and that we need to look after our energy as well as we look after our physical bodies. So we feed our physical bodies with food, we exercise them, we get enough sleep, we buy supplements, we do all that for the physical body. But what are we doing for the energetic body? What are we doing for the emotional body? Scorpio is about emotion, deep emotion. Scorpio is a fixed water sign, which if you wanted an analogy for it, it could be a dam or a pond, a big pond, or a lake of water. It's contained water. What does that mean? It means, as a heads up for us, how do we hold a space for emotions, for ourselves or others? I speak to clients and I say, how do you deal with your emotions? And many clients say, I have no idea how to deal with an emotion, because I analyze it, I strategize it, I try and find an answer for why I'm feeling like this. And what I'm saying to you is this month, and this year actually, but even more intensely this month, the emotions are coming up, possibly without a reason. You might feel unaccountably sad for no reason, remembering that we're all energetic and we're feeling into what's going on our planet, which is in crisis. So just to remember that you're energetic primarily, and that your physical body is a manifestation of your energetic body and not the other way around. So just to really look after your energy, if you have a good energy healer, go and see her or him and have a tune-up. Just like you would tune up your car or you would tune up your body, you sometimes need to tune up your energy in terms of clearing away what is blocking your energy flow. That's what Scorpio is about. It's about blocking the pipes so that the energy can actually flow. The chi, the energy that comes in all day long, can actually flow without getting stuck. And suppressed emotion is stuck energy. Energy, emotion is energy in motion. So repressed emotion is going to lead to things like depression and severe emotions. Whereas when you're able to actually sit with the feeling and just be present for it, just open to it, not close, open to the feeling. Feel it. Let it flow through you. Let it move through you like an energy, like a wave of energy. And when you do that, it is much quicker. The process is much quicker. And it doesn't have the result of you actually getting stuck in, with suppressed stuff that you've gone and added to the sewer beneath the surface. So this is a time when we really, really called on to do that, to really look at and pull our tools out of the cupboard in terms of the things that we use in order to keep ourselves steady. We're going to need it, I think, in the next week or 2 or 3 or 4. So use those tools, emotional freedom tapping technique, excellent tool. Finding ways of releasing anger and frustration before you project it. Journaling is a good tool, and then in addition to journaling, actually sitting and just allowing that feeling to be there without judgment, without saying it shouldn't be here, because it is there, so it needs to be there, it needs to be felt. And most of us have been told not to feel, think a happy thought, and that's healthy sometimes, but when we keep on doing that, what we're doing is we're just pushing that energy beneath the surface. And then when Scorpio comes around, it kind of can explode, a little bit like a volcano. And it can play out in relationships. So we can choose how to deal with this energy. I would say we need to up our practice in terms of our sacred practice, in terms of finding time during the day, especially when you start your day, to just be quiet for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sit outside, connect with nature, ground yourself. This is very electric energy. It needs to be grounded. So spend time in nature. Make yourself a beautiful meal. Focus on things that you really value, that bring you into the present. If you're doing a chore, see if you can just enjoy the chore by being fully immersed in it. Because we can wash the dishes quickly to get to the next thing, or we can wash the dishes and just wash the dishes. Just be there now. Be here now. So I think that's my message for this week and this full moon. It's a big one to release. So whatever you want to release, it's a good day to release it on the 31st of October. If relationships come in, relationship issues might be highlighted this week. Pain associated with relationships, old patterns might rear their heads. We have Venus in an opposition to Chiron, the wounded healer. So relationship stuff could come up. And it's not just, relationships with people that we're in a physical or intimate or romantic relationship with. It's relationship across the board. It's our relationships with ourselves, with our bodies, with our homes, with our money, with our people, with our pets. So those relationships are under the spotlight to actually clear and heal as well. So a very powerful week. Hold your center, keep centered, keep sane, stay sane. Don't get into the drama all the time. Limit your diet of information to keep yourself sane. And just keep coming back to this moment, because that's where the true power lies. And Scorpio is about finding your true power. So that's a little update for you on the next full moon. Again, 31st of October. That's when it happens. That's about it. I'm available for readings. I've got a couple of week delay, but you're welcome to contact me to see how this energy is playing out in your chart. Obviously, the energies are always moving, but the big ones that I've been speaking about are really still moving and still very active until the end of the year, where we have a big culmination point on the 21st of December, which I'll tell you more about in time to come. John and I are running a retreat in Noordhoek, which we're very excited about because it'll be our first one since March. That's coming up on the 13th and 14th of November. So you're very welcome to join us. It's going to be spectacular. We've got a special private venue where we're actually having a retreat, which is perched on top of a hill, and you overlook the whole of Noordhoek Beach. It's truly amazing. So give me a ring or send me an email if you'd like to hear more about that. Or you can go to our site, journeysofawakening.com. And we're also launching a monthly program where you're actually able to join us on a subscription basis. You can join us for a month or you can join us for a year. Each month we're going to be focusing on a different theme, which will be lightly themed to the astrology of the moment. Obviously, I'm obviously going to do that. And each month basically you will have access to 2 Zoom calls with us where we'll talk about the astrology of the month. We'll do some wisdom teachings. We'll give you some ideas about themes that come up. and we'll also take questions and answers. In addition to that, you'll also get access to your own personal membership page, which will have a meditation on it. It'll have an affirmation. It'll have some journal questions to take you through the month. It's very much your own process, but it's something that can help you to keep on track and to keep going to that inner home, to keep securing that taproot of yours, which I keep referring to, but for me, it really works. Just to kind of align myself with the presence and to sort of imagine that my taproot's going deep into the soil of Mother Earth, and that when it's deep there and I'm completely aligned with presence, that's when we're at our most powerful. And we can be flexible then. We can actually deal with changes. We can deal with the winds of change, and they're blowing strongly at the moment, and there's going to be more. So you're welcome to join us on we've called it the Inner Space Community, and it's available on our site. So again, go to journeysofawakening.com and have a look, check it out, and maybe join us for a month and see if you like it. That's about it for me. Have a beautiful week. Have a wonderful full moon. Release that which you don't need anymore. Nurture yourself, nurture those around you. Be kind, be compassionate, be patient. Lots of love.